All right. Well, we're gonna have Charles as co-host, but he ain't here yet. Oh, wait, there he is. There you are. Uh, so I was just looking this over here.
Power on.
Oh,
Bluetooth
power on.
pairing.
Power on.
Bluetooth connected.
Bluetooth connector. Now you hear me again.
How you doing,
Hear me.
Ron?
All right. Okay, I'm gonna get her over here now. Ready?
Okay. Which
Here we
what?
go. Yeah, gonna send her the link. And we're gonna have fun for about an hour here. We're a little bit late because I had a little camera issue with my
Uh-oh.
computer. I don't know why it was. I was using my camera on the phone, which made no sense. It had nothing to do with StreamYard. But then it decided to take a crap on the computer. It didn't want to work.
Ah.
It said something else was using it. So I said, I know how to fix it. And I would just turn everything off.
Reboot.
Yep, I had a few other thoughts, but no, I went the other way. And so here we are. We made it.
Excuse me, I'm rooting around here. Need something maybe later.
Hey,
Hopefully
Bobby, how
not.
you doing? All right, so I just posted the notice on the Facebook page telling everybody that we're gonna have a show tonight. Oh, there she is. Okay. All right, we'll make it. We'll make it work.
Okay.
We're not professional by any means.
But we're timely. We're on time for once.
That's right. I tried to be a little bit early, but like I said, this computer decided to have other ideas. And I go to sign into my YouTube, my StreamYard channel, and set everything up, and the camera didn't work. I was like, what the hell is going on here? So after cussing at it and getting mad at it, I thought, wait, calm down. Just turn it off, restart. Everything will shut off, and it'll be fine. And it took a little bit of time to restart, but here we are. We're here, and we got Constance, Victoria Briggs. What's going on?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep,
Yes,
we can hear
coming
you.
through great.
Yeah, that just seemed like technical issues all over the place on these podcasts recently.
Yep, I have them too sometimes.
I don't know if that's something that someone's interfering with us so that we don't get our message out or whatever the case.
Ron, nobody would interfere with you.
No, never. I got nothing. I
You,
got
you,
nobody.
you do such a good job by yourself.
That's right. I just ramble on about absolutely nothing.
Yes.
But hey, I got people watching, believe it or not. So people are noticing. So I got your book, See,
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to tell you, thank you for getting that and for the other one as well.
and
Hello,
I
Charles.
got this other one too, which we will
Um,
talk about that at another time. But I do have it just in case.
okay, all right.
So, Charles, did you want to kind of read her short bio
No.
I sent you from
Oh,
Amazon?
I'll just ask.
Yeah.
How many? It says, okay. I see your two books there. What else have you written?
I have written the Encyclopedia of Angels, the Encyclopedia of God, the Encyclopedia of the Unseen World, and then these two moon books.
What brought what drew you to that kind of work? Those sound like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
they're
what
a
I
lot of
mean?
work. They're a lot of work, Charles. But you know what? They were a labor of love. And when you're having fun with something, it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
So you're attracted to the mysteries.
I am attracted to the mysteries. The mysteries are attracted to me. Apparently, I've had some interesting experiences in life, and
Ah,
I think there's a reason for that. So
sure.
yeah. How about you guys? Have you had any strange things happen in your life?
Yeah, I think we all have. Whoever watches this show or whatever. I know Charles and I have definitely at
Mhm.
different levels of situations that we've experienced. In my house, I have guests that don't pay rent,
Yeah.
But they don't eat
and
much.
and I keep asking them to pay rent, and they just laugh and laugh and laugh. 'Cause
Okay. All right.
I got some guy in the basement that keeps making stuff. I don't know what he's doing down there, but he keeps building stuff. I keep hearing him hammering away,
Oh, yay. Fun.
and I heard other people hear that too. So that's all when that goes on. I just ignore it. I learned how to ignore it. You have my TV up loud so I don't hear most of the noise, and also it gives him something to listen to besides me talking in my sleep.
Yeah.
But so I had a question for you. I saw you on two programs recently, Three Beards podcast and on Joey Medea's Into the Outer Realms.
What was the first one?
Three Beards podcast with Craig Ansel,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
Into the Outer Realms with Joey Medea.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed how you handled those two interviews. I know you were mentioning the 2 hours is a little bit long, and I do understand that when you're talking about time wise, and we're not getting any younger.
We're not getting any younger. No. And
And
I don't, I,
2 hours of our time talking about crazy talk, that's a little bit weird. But anyway, no offense towards anybody. Um, I just like to have fun with some of those comments sometimes. So forgive
okay.
me. But I had a question as I was watching those two shows. You were mentioning you were a medium, a psychic medium, right? What
No,
what
I'm not a
meta,
psychic medium. I could be
metaphysical
a psychic medium, but I
metaphysical?
I steer clear of it because of a bad experience I had once.
Okay. Well, now, did I hear you talk about remote viewing though? Did you do it, or did someone else
I
do
was
that?
talking about Ingo Swan
Oh
Mhm.
yeah,
with
yeah, yeah. Okay.
having
Did
remote
it? Yes.
viewing experience with the
Okay.
moon. Are you familiar
Okay.
with that story?
I familiar with what?
Are you familiar with that story, Ingo Swan?
I heard you can share it. You can definitely
I,
share it if you want.
I've read Ingo's book.
Okay, so you know
So,
about it,
so please
Charles.
go ahead.
I know who
Share
he
it with
is. Yeah, I know who he
So
is.
Ingo was the most talented remote viewer of his time. And I believe that he can be trusted because he was someone that remote viewed Jupiter and found Jupiter's ring. And
Mhm.
long before our scientists found it, he had already seen it in his remote viewing.
Mhm.
So when he says that he went to the moon and he saw something up there, I believe him. I think he had a
Mhm.
really good track record. So long story short, Ingo was well, he was recruited by a secret agency to go and remote view the moon. They gave him the coordinates and come back and report. He was a little surprised, that
Mhm.
that's what they wanted him to do, but he went up. And long story short, he witnessed humanoids or humans on the moon. I'll say humanoids because they were not wearing anything. And he saw them at work, and he saw some buildings, something, I believe he called it a factory. He thought they were creating some sort of, I think it was a laser. Anyway,
Hmm.
so he saw three beings up there, and the beings got a sense of Ingo, which shows, I believe, that they have some psychic abilities. And he knew that they had sensed him, and he pulled back. He was
Mhm.
fearful, and the story is that he hid after that experience
Mhm.
for fear that they would find him. It kind of scared him for a while, but he didn't talk about this for 30 years. It was 30
Yeah,
years before
Mhm.
he wrote his book
Yeah.
after
and
that experience.
probably because he knew himself that people wouldn't understand it more than likely. And obviously,
Well, it wasn't until the program that he was involved with went public
yeah,
that they had been doing the men who look. What was it? The men who stared goats. Was that the movie they did? Okay.
I don't know.
Once that whole thing became public knowledge, that was when he came out with his book.
yeah,
And to come out with his own experience, his own particular experiences, which were remarkable, absolutely remarkable.
oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that. I'm not sure what that picture is.
It's not Ingo.
But anyway, yeah, folks, there are pictures in this book. In case you don't like to read a lot, there are some pictures in there, so you can enjoy that. Hey, TP Seeker, what's going on? Yeah, Echo. I don't know who has the Echo. Somebody has the Echo. So, I noticed one topic in your book that I was looking at. Just kind of remember, I told you I was going to read the first line of every paragraph, and that was the whole thing.
Yes.
Speed reader
Told me
trick,
that.
And that didn't work out too well for me either. I didn't get too far with that, but I did pick at least one topic. I saw a thing on it about a bridge
Power on.
on the moon.
Hmm. So, I don't know how do you want to just do a question and answer thing, Ronald? Or do you want me to just kind of take off?
Kind of take off and run with what you want to share.
All right, guys. So I will.
Your show.
I will. All right. So I will get back to the bridge question.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the reason that I wrote the Encyclopedia of Moon Mysteries was because I had been working in metaphysics, as we talked about, but I've always been a believer that we're not alone in the universe.
Yeah.
I think it's a topic that we need to explore a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And I came across a book titled Our Mysterious Spaceship Moon that was written in the 70s by a Mr. Don Wilson, who wrote actually two books, Our Mysterious Spaceship Moon and Secrets of Our Spaceship Moon. He was the one that introduced me to the idea that there is something mysterious about our moon.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I had grown up, like so many people, thinking that the moon is just a dead rock in the sky. There's nothing going on with the moon. It's just beautiful to look at. And it helps Earth with the tides. Okay. Yeah. But I was surprised to learn from his book, and I'll get into these guys later, but I was surprised to learn that our Apollo astronauts had encountered so many strange things while they were on their missions. So he talked about that, and it just motivated me to do a whole bunch more research. And I was absolutely shocked at some of the things in the things that I learned. And I thought, I need to just chronicle this stuff. And I studied a lot. I did a lot of research. I talked to people, and I thought, I'm just going to make it easy for people to get a book where they can look up strange things with the moon. All right, so you can go in this book and look up.
And it's alphabetical. It's alphabetical. It's so easy.
Yeah, it makes it really easy, and it's like a jump-off point for your own research. But going back, one of the things that astounded me was that not only is the moon it's not just a dead rock in the sky, but our scientists don't know where it came from. So I learned. I want to kind of go on a little journey here. I learned that it wasn't a dead rock, and then I learned that what I have been taught, that I thought the moon was captured by Earth's gravity. It was like an asteroid that got caught here. That's what I was thinking growing up. No, and no one corrected it. None of my teachers corrected that.
Right.
There were several through those years in the 50s and 60s, and it really even before that. There were two basic ideas. Okay, one that it was a captured object in some fashion, and the other was that it just formed with the Earth. Just another just another local vortex in the cloud. Okay, as everything formed up,
That's right.
and it turns out neither one of those are really completely correct.
No,
None of them work.
none of them work. And the latest, greatest theory they have is you could call it the big
The
whack,
impact, yes.
the giant impact theory, or the big
Mhm.
whack theory. And there's even one called the double big whack theory, where
Oh,
basically,
okay. There's a new one.
yeah. So some are
It's
saying
it's
that
the nebula. There's a nebula theory.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it's interesting. I was listening to a show on Netflix the other night. I believe that my husband was listening, and I believe it's called The Universe, and it's being narrated by Morgan Freeman. And Morgan Freeman was saying, matter of factly, that the Earth was hit with the giant impact theory. It was hit,
Mhm.
and then part of the by a planet the size of Mars that was named Theia. And this
Mhm.
planet, when it smacked into the Earth's
Threw off
elements
from yeah.
spewed out into the universe, and eventually formed the
Then I
moon.
collected all the parts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now that's what he
I d-
said, and he did not say it's a theory, which made me
then
mad.
yeah. Now can I say my theory?
Yeah,
Sure.
Um.
Well,
See, now I believe in the creation theory, as in the 6-day creation
oh my goodness.
of the Bible. Now there is no way to prove that either. But now the interesting thing, what you mentioned on Joey's show, and I think you might have mentioned it on Craig's show, is that there was a time when there was no moon in the sky, and there were people that talk about it. Okay. Now, what's interesting is in the creation story, it says that God, I'm saying God, and I don't get upset when I say that term. I say God. I say He. I don't, just the way I read it. Okay, so forgive me for that. But anyway, God, He created the earth, and it was without form and void. And then there was no light on. All of a sudden, He created the sun to rule the day, the big light in the sky. And then He created the moon, the lesser light, to rule the night. That's what it says
Mhm.
in the creation story. Now,
Correct.
the interesting thing is that's the only part that we know that anything is written about that story. Okay?
Mhm.
Other than that, when did the moon actually appear? There's no, like when you talk about the first day, and then when you go, oh, you got to go to service on the Sabbath day,
Mhm.
right? Not to get religious or teaching anybody anything, but just say, for example, when was the first day? We don't know when that day was on our calendar. We have no clue, absolutely. So now with the moon creation theory, there is not enough material from that impact to create a thing as big as the moon.
Mhm.
right,
I like
right.
your theory that it's possibly a spaceship, and if it's not a spaceship, it's a rogue planet that got loose from wherever it was, and it wound up in Earth's atmosphere and in the gravity of Earth. Now, I understand that it's moving away from Earth, and eventually it's going to be Space 1999, where the moon's moving away from Earth, and all of a sudden it breaks away from the gravity of the Earth, and out there floating
Mhm.
around in space all by itself again. And they had people on the moon that they didn't know how to correct that problem. If
Yeah.
you remember in that show. And
Constance, in your research
yeah, but now,
for your book,
yeah,
did you look at any of the mythologies, different cultural mythologies?
I did.
Because every culture has its own mythos about the moon and how everything was how particular constellations were created.
Yeah,
I just wondered.
I did read some of them. Some of them are, I didn't really understand. I mean, they're dealing with all
Yeah.
kinds of, beings and things,
Mhm.
and all kinds of scenarios. I came across one. Ronald has been following my shows, and
Uh-huh.
I kind of latched on to the one with the Zulu people. Are you
mhm,
familiar, Charles, with the Zulu
Zulu?
people? Yeah. Okay.
No, I can't bring it to mind right offhand.
So basically, um, the Zulu uh, were a part of the Bantu people of South
Hmm.
Africa, and their ancient tales talk about when it comes to the moon, they liken it to an egg, a large egg.
Mhm.
And they say that this egg was hollowed out by two beings,
Okay.
and that the way that this egg, which is the moon, came to be in Earth's orbit is because it was sent across the universe by these beings and placed here.
Okay.
All right. Now, this hollowed out egg has been likened to a hollowed out planetoid. It is
Sure.
thought by some researchers that that's what they're talking about. But what's really for me, why I think I latched onto that is because there are two stories. I mean, I can't get into all the stories, but they're two of my favorite. Ronald probably has heard
Uh-huh.
me talk about it. So the Zulu people said this, and then there is a uh, what is called a sun gate, an artifact, which is it's a monolith that stands in Bolivia.
Mhm.
And it looked to be like it was a part of an observatory from that time.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
on this gateway or sun gate, it's a door,
Okay.
and it's standing,
Okay.
in this rock, and it's saying in the symbols
Mhm.
that the moon wasn't always there, that the moon was came in, it was brought in, and
Okay.
it caused chaos on the earth. To
Uh-huh.
me, that lined up with the Zulu people's story. Excuse
Okay.
me. But not only that, if we look at the two Soviet scientists from the 1970s who studied the Apollo missions and what they found while they were on the moon, and the elements and the rocks and dust and dirt or whatever that they brought back, they looked at that data and they said, okay, when a meteor hits the moon,
Mhm.
all of the craters, for example, are the same depth. That's
Mhm.
weird. They looked at the fact that the astronauts sent their ascent stage, crashed it into the moon a couple of times, and it reverberated, in which we call it ringing like a bell. It reverberated. They said that's weird. That shouldn't be. The moon, it looks like it's
Mhm.
hollow. Not only they said that, but also NASA's astronaut scientists had a press conference and they said that. These
Uh-huh.
scientists said that's strange.
Well, they
They
they expect they I think they expected a chewy gooey center, but it
Yeah,
obviously doesn't have a chewy gooey center like the Earth does.
right. They were shocked. They were
Yep.
shocked. I mean, they
Yes.
go up there to get answers, and they just came back with more questions, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So these
Isn't that
scientists
the way it
also,
always turns out though?
yeah, but
There
when you're
always
spending
there
that kind
always
of
there's
time,
always another question. The more you learn, the more you have to learn.
God, well, so far they haven't gotten very far. But anyway, uh, so so the scientists also looked at, the moon rocks and what they were made of, and and all the stuff they brought back, and they said, you know what, this is just too strange. This the moon looks like it's made out of, elements are designed to make it really hard and strong. And they literally said, let me see if I can find that quote for you. Uh, they were literally saying that if they were going to make a ship that was designed to be strong and go through the universe and
Mhm.
withstand elements, that this is what the moon appears to be, and
Mhm.
that's what it looks like someone did. They created the moon, they made it really hard so that it could fly through the universe
Mhm.
and be bombarded by meteors and heat, and not have any problems. And then
Mhm.
they went on to say, and this was really, I'm going to give you the quote in a second, but this was
Okay.
really controversial because these
Mhm.
were two respectable scientists that they were from the Soviet government, and they
Uh-huh.
put their reputations on the line, and they said that what it looks like is a spaceship. All
Uh-huh.
right, I'm going to read you their quote. They said, it is more likely that what we have here is a very ancient spaceship, the interior of which was filled with fuel for the engines, materials, and appliances for repair work, navigation instruments, observation equipment, and all manner of machinery. In other words, everything necessary to enable it to survive as a Noah's Ark of intelligence, perhaps even as a home of a whole civilization with a prolonged, perhaps thousands of millions of years existence and long wanderings through space. So they basically are saying that someone sent this this spaceship here, or this structure here, you can whatever you want to call it, and that there may be someone inside of it, and they have everything they need for living in there. That's what they said.
That's interesting.
And sorry, and that's when the spaceship moon, I think, theory or idea was born. But it goes along with what the Zulu people said, and it goes along with what the Sun Gate says. And I'm sorry, Ronald, but it does go along with what the Greek philosophers and Roman writers and others were saying about there being a time when there was no moon in the sky. Now, this is a theory, this is a speculation. I'm not saying this is it. All right. The whole point of Moon Mysteries, the book, was to talk about these mysteries and to get us thinking. All right. There's no dictating here. This is my favorite speculation, the spaceship moon theory. But maybe that isn't it. But it does seem to line up. So what Ronald was talking about earlier was that there were Greek philosophers who said there was a time where there was a race of people in Greece. They were called the Arcadians. They existed before Mesopotamia, Sumeria, Egypt. They ran free in the land. They were wild people, and they were there when Venus was basically the shiniest thing in the sky at night. So if you look at all of this, it sort of lines up with the theory that the moon was brought in here. Whether or not it's a spaceship is another matter, but that maybe it wasn't always there.
You know, there's two TV shows that come to mind, and one of them is kind of funny, and the other one's more serious. So, but the first one is kind of funny. Now you might like this. South Park. You ever watch South Park? Okay, it's
No.
an animated comedy, and some of their topics are quite wild. But anyway, in this one, or maybe it was not South Park, but it was what was the other one? The one with the robot with the Bender the robot. Um, it was another show. Anyway, they would fly their ship from Earth to the moon, and they'd go into the moon and land their ship in the moon, and there'd be a big mall type of thing inside the moon. Everybody would be there and having a good time. So that's one thing right there. That's kind of funny. But
I like that.
then the other one was and that was them kind of like giving that message. You know, hey, there is something in the moon or up there that we don't understand, right? And it doesn't mean that we have to believe exactly how they're putting it out there, but we need to be aware that there is something there that we don't understand. And that's what that I believe is the message of that show, even though it's kind of funny, you know. But and then the other thing was Star Trek had a episode where race of people was on an asteroid, and they thought that was their whole world. They didn't know they were an asteroid going through space and going to crash into another planet. They're just going along, no big deal. And then of course Captain Kirk had to explain to them, hey, you're going to die if you don't change course or get off of your ship here. And you're on a ship, you're not on an asteroid, you know, or whatever. And so,
So, I'm sorry.
yeah, they didn't understand that they were on a man-made ship. I mean, these are people that have been around for hundreds of years on this rock going through space. So go ahead with your comment.
Yeah, it's interesting you would bring that up. That's one of my favorite Star Trek shows, and I talk about that show in my new book.
Good.
You said you have the book. I guess you haven't read that, but it is in there, and it is quite a thing.
I'll get there. I'll get there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just will briefly say that Gene Roddenberry, the producer and creator, was says that he was listening to channel sessions We'll maybe get into this in the next show in more depth, but you know, and that he, you know, it is believed that he was inspired from Star Trek, from the sessions. So I just wonder if he had some inside information, because basically what the Soviet scientists were saying about the moon really lines up with that episode. That was a generational shift in that Star Trek episode where people, you were right, were living in there. The name of that was For the World is Hollow and I Had Touched the Sky. It is amazing. And, you know, but not only that, but, you know, there's some talk about Earth being hollow. There's some talk about Phobos, Mars's moon, 2 moons, Phobos and how do you
That's
say?
a mystery. That's a big mystery there. It really is.
I mean, could this be a thing in our solar, you know, in the galaxy? Hollow planets, are they really, you know, planets? Are they all constructed? And it has been said by one researcher that on Earth, we are living inside out.
Yeah.
It's not so typical to be on top of a planet, but, you know, but the inside makes more sense. So for as far as we know, there could be beings existing within the moon. As far fetched as people may think that sounds, you know, when the interesting about the Moon Mysteries book is how much detail it goes into about the Apollo astronauts. So basically, I want to say 2 things because I know we only have half hour. But the astronauts, when they were going up, they read the first time they went up, and I believe that was Apollo 7. They ran into something out there. So that meaning that they saw a huge UFO. It was beautiful, you know, prettiest I've ever seen in a picture. It's big and white, and it kind of been described as angelic and, you know, like a butterfly and beautiful. And they tried to hide it by, I call it duck gate. They tried to hide this in pictures with duct tape. This UFO that the Apollo 7 saw. They tried to hide the thing. But it wasn't the only thing they saw out there. It wasn't very far that the Apollo astronauts got before we ran into someone in space. All right. So that just shows that, yeah, we're, you know, not alone.
Right.
And there could be beings on the moon. So it's not that far fetched. Now, I wanted to touch on that structure before I forget, Ronald. I'm sorry. I don't want to take up all the conversation.
Go ahead.
Did you?
I just wanted to say that structure, I mean, that construction of the bridge.
Yes.
The bridge was witnessed by some very famous scientists whose names are escaping me right now because there's so many astronomers and scientists. So the bridge, these astronomers, going back to the 1600s, you know, they've been studying the moon, and these two, you know, in more modern times, saw this thing materialize in an area on the moon that they had been studying, and they were like, "Whoa, what is that? That looks like that's a bridge. Where'd that come from? How could it come, you know, from out of nowhere?" And then other astronomers came to look at it and kind of backed up his story, and eventually the thing disappeared. And the theory is, the mystery is, where did it come from? Where did it go? And the theory is that that extraterrestrials knew that we were watching it and perhaps dismantled it because they believe that they're trying to throw us off.
Interesting. Interesting.
Constance, I wonder. I something just occurred. Remember, you maybe not, but back in 1999, they did the mission where they crashed the booster into the south pole of the moon, trying like a lunar prospector mission. There were a lot of things about that mission when it actually hit that just didn't make a lot of sense. I mean, it didn't do anything that they expected it to do. It didn't get the blowback that they expected it to get. It just kind of went poof, and it was a very unexpected result, shall we say.
No, what's interesting. Oh, sorry.
Sorry?
Go ahead. I was going to. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
You go.
So, as far as I know, with that mission, they had said they were going up there to try to locate water.
Yeah.
All right. Now they had already found water. Water had already been found on the moon, so that didn't make
Yes.
any sense, right? So um, I couldn't believe they did that. But the theory is that there are structures on the moon, all right, and they had gotten wind of this thing somehow, and the theory is that they sent up a rocket to destroy something up there that they
Mhm.
didn't want anyone else to see. And I that's the theory, that's the mystery. I wonder what that was, what that could have been, and I wonder if it was that it could have been the ship from an Apollo 15 mission that they had discovered in a photograph. That's my theory. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think they were trying to blow something up that they didn't want people to know about.
Well, if you're
Mhm.
going to have an entrance, then the poles would be the place to put one.
Right. Right. Eventually they're gonna they're gonna get tired up there of us coming and
I
crashing
think
into the
maybe,
moon.
they were just knocking on the door. You know.
Now you were talking about, you had a paragraph in there about atmosphere on the moon, right?
Yes. Well,
And
yeah.
what I wanted to ask about, or if you remember a TV show, it was like Outer Limits or whatever, Twilight
Mhm.
Zone or some kind of show like that. And the astronauts landed on the moon in the story, and there were these people in the cave in the moon with a campfire going, without any outfit, without any uniform, without any spacesuit or nothing like that. They're sitting there enjoying a campfire in the
Yes.
cave on the moon, and it's like, that shouldn't be happening,
Was that
right?
Outer Limits? Because I just discovered Outer Limits. I've got to watch some more of that. It sounds really
Yeah,
interesting. So,
yeah.
what's weird is a few things. The astronauts actually, there's some narrative of them talking about campfires, fires on the moon. It's like, what the heck are they talking about? But excuse me, that's a mystery, that dialogue. But there is the idea that inside the moon there are caverns and areas. Getting back to people living in there, where there is not there are whole cities and whole areas where there may be people, otherworldly people living there. And as
Mhm.
far as the atmosphere goes, the science changes. First, a while back, the scientists were saying, well, there can't be there's no atmosphere up there. Then you hear, well, there's just a little atmosphere up there. But then you have the contactees who claim to have traveled to the moon. There are people out there, who say that they have met extraterrestrials, and they have taken trips with them by extraterrestrials that are trying to educate humans slowly, that we're not alone. So these guys have said that when they went up, they saw some life up there. They saw plant life. That there was some atmosphere, there, and of course, not a natural atmosphere, but there are pictures out of NASA where you see domes, lighted
Mhm.
domes
Mhm.
on the moon. I mean, granted, if there's no atmosphere, not much enough on the top of the surface for us, there may be definitely something going on because they can't explain the lighted domes. They can't explain things like mist up moving
Yes.
around up there. If there's no atmosphere, why would there be mist and fog? That's
And wind
obvious.
blowing dust, wind blowing dust.
Sure.
Blowing the moon dust around. You see like here in the cornfields. You see the dust from the cornfields flying all over the place, or the snow. On a windy day, you see the snow flying all over the place. When you see the moon dust, or even Mars, when you see the dust flying, like Mars has a dust storm. How does that happen when there's no atmosphere on Mars to speak of? It's not a whole lot, right? How does that windstorm happen that causes that giant dust storm that covers the
Mhm.
planet for how many weeks did that one last? I can't remember. It's quite a
They
while.
last for years.
Yeah.
They last
So
for years, Ron.
and then Jupiter, you got the giant red spot. That is dissipating a little bit, but then it's getting bigger again. They're kind of going back and forth on that. But anyway, what is it? You know, with the
Are we being told
yeah.
everything about the moon, or do they just not know themselves?
No, we're
Because
not. We're not being told everything about the moon. What we don't get told about the moon is that we never stopped going to the moon. Now, whether or not you want to believe that, I don't really care. You might not like it, and you might not agree with it, but the point is, the last mission was not in
What?
1969 or whatever it was in 70, whatever the last mission was. Um, we have been going back there. I mean, if we've been going to the space station all this time, every single launch we go to the space station,
Mhm.
how hard is that to make that happen? Uh,
It's 90% as hard to get to the space station as it is to get to the moon.
yeah, it's the
Yeah.
same process basically. A
so
little more fuel, but I think we have bases up there that they're not telling us about. I think that they have a whole thing that we don't even know about that's protecting us. Basically, it's to protect us. Of course, the ones that are stuck up there, they've been up there for years. They don't know why they're up there. They're just there. Okay.
who
Uh, our
who's
our
stuck up
our
there?
space force, if you want to call it that. Our military protectors that are trying to protect planet Earth against the aliens, right? Now we don't see them because they're so-called incognito. All right. Um,
So
I
you think there's people around on the moon up there to protect us from
from other than the nice aliens, like say the lizard people that are usually evil. Okay, and then or the Anunnaki that want to put us in slavery to make them to do their work for them. Like I'm a gold prospector. I prospect for gold. I actually go to the river and I get in the middle of the river and I dig for gold. And
Mm.
I find it in the river and I'm the first person to touch that piece of gold since it's been created. That's pretty damn amazing when you get to do that. And then these guys that are on the moon. Okay, these groups of people. There could be thousands of them that we don't even know about. Prove me wrong. I mean, if you prove me wrong, I'll say, hey, I'm sorry. I
you
missed.
know the thing is I think that we have to talk about these things. I think we have to put the theories out there. I think we have to turn these ideas around, if we're ever going to get anywhere,
Yeah.
in trying to figuring out what exactly is going on,
Mhm.
with the moon
I
and
mean,
with Earth.
how
Let's
many
figure it
times have
out.
they had a NASA launch that we find out about it 3 days after it happens? Like
A
what?
what?
They have a NASA launch, a rocket launch,
Oh,
and we find out about it 3 days after. Even with all the social media, I mean, we catch some of them now, but there's a lot of them that we don't catch. They can launch something right now, we wouldn't know it. It'd just be
that's
going,
true.
it'd be
Mhm.
going up in space. They'd never tell us, and then there hundred of our people are gone up to the moon. We don't know.
Well,
Mhm.
I got really lucky. I have a friend who just moved next door to NASA. She can hear everything they're doing. So I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, yeah. Let me
Mhm.
know. And but I think there are situations that we have no clue about, and Facebook and YouTube might hate me for what I'm saying, and they'll say fact checkers and everything like that, and that's okay. Whatever they want to do.
Well, you can't. They can't fact check speculation. It's okay
Yeah,
to
it's my
Exactly.
opinion.
have
It's
a
my
statement.
opinion. I have a right to my opinion, as anyone else does, as long as we're not trying to hurt anybody, while we're talking about it, and we're not. And
So, so Constance,
Yes.
what's your next book? What are you working on now?
yeah, what are you working on now? Your new one.
I want to know.
Oh wow. Okay, so it is the Earth's galactic history and its extraterrestrial connection. The Earth's galactic history and its
Mhm.
extraterrestrial connection.
I
It's a
like that.
companion to the moon's galactic history.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Mm.
lots of interesting stories there, lots of mysteries, lots of fun to write, very interesting. You know, um, people want to talk about these topics. They want
Sure.
to talk about, what's going on out there. It's getting a little
Mm.
bit more difficult to hide things that people are seeing and experiencing, you
Goofy,
know.
goofy
So
Okay,
ass.
they,
I had a question. Do humans still read?
yeah, you know what? That is a good question. Apparently
Apparently,
they do, Um, God help us if
well,
they
not
if they
not
don't.
not enough of them.
Not enough of them. Well, you know what? You're right. The publishing business, it is
Yeah.
seeming a little shaky these days. But apparently, I mean, I look at. Well, can you see? I have two of these. My husband was just saying I should show both. I have a lot of books. I'm still buying books, and
Okay.
yeah. So I
Ah,
think people still read.
so
Yeah.
so
Now,
so it,
here,
so it's so it's writers and would-be writers that buy all the books. Now I
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Oh God.
I've got several bookshelves myself. So
Well, maybe you need to write a book, Charles. Yeah, there you go. Write a
oh,
book. Okay, now here's a good
where am I
question.
going to
Now,
find time?
here's a really good
That's
question.
what I
Now,
want. I want the secret. I want the secret of how do I find the time to do it?
Yeah, I know.
you're like me.
No,
You got all
for
day.
me,
Come on now.
writing is like pulling nails.
Here's a question for you, Constance. Do you
Yes.
believe that extraterrestrials and our curiosity about the moon or other things in the universe, do you think that it has any paranormal connection?
Mm,
And I don't know
God.
if that's a good term or not, but that's one that I'm using to try to explain my question.
Yes. And I think about this a lot coming from someone who, has written a book on the unseen world, and I've
Mhm.
been trying to make that connection. So some of these concepts are a little extreme for some people, I think. But first of all, I do not believe that everything that happens in the unseen
Mhm.
is from a ghost.
No.
I believe that we are surrounded by on Earth and in the universe by beings that we cannot see. We only have a short range of seeing here, being in the physical body. There is
Mhm.
a lot going on that we cannot see. Have you ever heard that dogs and cats can see things?
Mhm.
They are
Oh,
seeing things.
it's obvious
All
they
right,
do.
they are seeing it, but we can't just because of our range of vision.
Mhm.
All right,
Hmm.
we just don't know.
Sure.
So I think we are surrounded by other life forms that you and I and Charles we just can't. So
Mhm.
sometimes when you're getting something that is considered paranormal, and maybe everything's a ghost to people,
Hmm.
it's not. It's another life form, and every now and then they materialize. I have friends who have seen some things that um, like I have a friend, a very sane friend, who's told me once that she saw a brownie. The little guys you hear about in
Okay.
Yeah.
stories. She
Sure.
saw one running by. My friend was very sane. She wasn't a flake. I've had two people who said they saw something that resembled trolls.
Mhm.
So I don't know if they're coming in. They're coming from another dimension or
Hmm.
not, but they could also just be here. I think some of the stuff that we've heard about in legends and that we still see today from time to time, they're here.
Mm.
I think
Mhm.
also we have extraterrestrials that are here, that are living among us, that might do things from time to time, and we just don't know they're there because they can camouflage themselves, or what is the
Uh-huh.
word? Cloak.
Yes.
So yeah, I think we are being visited, and I think some have taken on human form, and I
Mhm.
think that some can hide themselves. And I
Yep.
think
Hmm.
so sometimes when people think something is what they're calling paranormal, I think it's normal a lot of times.
Yeah. And Lorraine had mentioned we need to redefine the term normal. You know,
Yes.
um, I think there's a lot of normal stuff happening today that we are just realizing, like, oh, that's normal. That's no big
That's
deal.
normal. And we
Yeah.
should be taught. We should have been taught. If we were
Sure.
taught about these things, we wouldn't be so frightened of them.
Right. And I don't think that every ghost or spirit is a demon. You know, some people say, "Oh, they're demons," or a lot of the church people will argue with you and say, "Oh no, you die and you go to be with God, or you
Mhm.
go, you know, or you go and wait for Judgment Day and you go to the other place, you know, and then to hell, you know." And I don't know that it's exactly that way. You know, I think there's more questions and answers in
Mhm.
that situation. I'm a Christian. I'm a believer in the Bible. I believe in Jesus Christ and all that stuff. But the point of the matter is, there are many things that are coming to light in my later years that I'm seeing like that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense. How are we talking to mom or how are we talking to whoever in our family? Both my parents are passed away now, and so
Mine too.
it's like I do have messages from someone, and I'm assuming it's them. And I've had people that had done remote viewing of my house, and they had seen my mom's spirit here in the house, so they know that, or they sensed that she was here at some point. So these are well qualified and trained people in the field. You know,
Right,
they're
right,
not not some goofball that's trying to make a buck. You know,
Mhm.
right, right.
and so the interesting thing is, what are they seeing? If it's not my mom, who is it? You
Mhm.
know, if it is my mom, then what do you mean? She didn't go to be with God and wait for you
Mhm.
know, I don't think that's the case. I think we're energy, and I like
Yeah.
to use the term conscience, and I don't know if you heard this term before, but I know I've heard other people use it, but I've been using this term for about 6 years now. I use the term eternal existence.
Mhm.
We
Okay.
don't die. We do
And
not die.
And
No.
so, and what I mean by that, I don't believe in reincarnation. I'm not saying that at all. We're the
Mm.
same soul energy, but going through different times. Okay? And that means we can go from the future to the past to the present, and we're all over the place. We're stuck in the present right now, talking here on YouTube, right? We're stuck
Yeah.
in this lifetime. I was born in 1961, okay? I just had a birthday, actually. And
Happy birthday.
I didn't like my number I am at. I'm at 62. I wanted to change it, reverse it to 26, you know. And, but that doesn't work either. But anyway, the gray hair kind of
That's
gets.
everybody. That's everybody, Ronald.
But anyway, I gotta. I guess I gotta
Excuse
be
me.
happy with my number and my age and enjoy where I'm at in this time frame. But I was here on planet Earth before. I don't know how I know that, and I'm not making that up. I have memories of things that I cannot explain.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, um, I can't prove it, but again, you can't really disprove it or try. You can sit there and argue all day saying no, that ain't right, or you might agree with me and say yeah, that could be possible. But anybody can try to disagree with you, and church person would say no, you only live one time, and then that's it. You know, you're gone. And now I don't. I think in the human side of things, yes, that's correct. The physical human side of things, yes, you only live once in this time frame, but your soul energy, your eternal energy, goes on, which I think you understand what I'm saying with that. And so I find all that kind of interesting. It might not again agree with the Christian perspective or with church people, but that's what I think I'm understanding at this point. And I think we're all part of the whole thing. I don't think the aliens are demons. A lot of church people say aliens are fallen angels, they're demons.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I
Yes,
don't
we do.
believe that. There are evil aliens, but there are also good ones. There are good ones that help people, okay? Um, I think they're in the universe and they're coming to Earth. They're on a research mission just like we are, okay? We just can't get off planet to go do our research except for, you know, from
Maybe,
we
maybe next time round, Ron.
yeah, well we can do a spiritual trip at night. We can do an astral planing or you know do a spiritual trip, which I believe we all take trips at night when we go to sleep. When we go
Yes.
to sleep at night, whether you know it or not, you're not sleeping right where you are.
That's right.
You're somewhere else.
Mhm.
When you're dreaming of
Oh.
something, take note of what you're dreaming of, and you're gonna think, where was I at? You know,
Right.
you'll
Yeah.
have you'll have a dream of something that you wouldn't even know about. That's how I know
Mhm.
I've been here before. Before this
Mhm.
time frame, I have dreams about things that I cannot explain. I've been on a planet that I can't explain, uh, amethyst crystal planet, and I had two suns, and I had the sun shining through the amethyst crystal all over the place. And a beautiful, beautiful place to be. The guide that I was with told me to touch the crystal for energy. I
Hmm.
did that. When I was there, I saw two people I recognized. I didn't remember their name, but that's kind of like normal life. I don't remember people's names anyway, so it kind of worked out just fine. But the interesting thing about that trip is I came back in a peaceful mood. I was
Mhm.
content and I was satisfied, not understanding a thing of what just happened, but I know I was there. I was physically there. When I dream about being in a place, wherever it might be, I physically know I'm there because I can grab a glass. I know I have a glass in my hand,
Right.
or a bottle, or my cell phone, or a book, or whatever it is I have in my hand. I have a physical item in my hand while I'm at that place. So it's not just my spirit that's going, it's me that's going there. Even though my body is here in the chair sleeping, I'm out there roaming around somewhere doing whatever the mission is. I don't know what that mission is. But anyway, the point is we do that every single night. Everyone does. And tell me you don't, but prove to me that you don't, and then we can talk about how that works. But
So yeah, no, I have the same exact stuff going on.
okay.
I believe that our true self is within what I refer to as the avatar. I kind of adopted that
Mhm.
from the movie. And, in this avatar here on Earth, I'm here, to complete a mission and learn lessons
Mhm.
and to be able to live on Earth. You have to have this body, and we do come in for that. But that our true self can leave this body. We will eventually, of
Mhm.
course, when we die, and then we can return home wherever home is. Home doesn't have to be isn't heaven. All right,
Mhm.
it's more complicated than that. Some of us
Yes.
are in stasis, perhaps on a ship somewhere, and then we come in here, or we
Yep.
may be on a home planet and we come in here.
Mhm.
Um, there are not people. Everybody's not going to the same place when they leave, and yeah, we are not tied to the body. We are traveling at night often.
Thank you.
We leave and we go elsewhere. The body, you can call it your light body, the soul, the spirit, the astral body, whatever you want to refer to it. It is your true person, and you can travel, and you do reach other places in other worlds, and sometimes you
Mhm.
go home. And
Oh, you're
sometimes you're visiting loved ones that have passed on, and
yeah.
you come back and you don't remember. Or you may go to another place and you are really there. I wake up all the time and I think, oh God, that's a really cool place, to have traveled to. A couple of times, two or three times now, I've been to the same place, and then one of them I did see very recently, and I'm trying to find out who they are. They were extraterrestrial people,
Interesting.
um, very, very cool. And yeah, I can hold that glass or touch that wall or, so yeah, we're not tied to the bodies and we are not from here.
Yeah.
All right. And we are forever. Okay. But what's really interesting is that you can actually, that body could have been on a planet and said, oh, I want to travel to Earth. And
Mhm.
however they did it, you were able to leave that planet and come here. That's like a whole different concept of from coming to heaven and being born into Earth. You could be on a whole different world and still
Yeah.
come to Earth. People are coming and going in all different directions of this
Yeah.
cosmic freeway.
Yeah. Oopie had a statement or a question here for you, if you will. If you can touch on that for a minute. We got a minute, about a minute, and you can get out of here. Can you see that question?
Okay, yeah, it says, Victoria, what was the most astonishing thing you discovered while researching, writing your moon encyclopedia. The most astonishing thing, I think, and there's so many, honey, but there are structures on the moon that looks like they were blown apart. I mean, some are intact, but some look like they were part of a war zone. Just the fact that there are structures on the moon tells me that somebody was there. The fact that there are structures that looks like they were blown apart, and that there are craters also that looks like it looks like there was a nuclear kind of war that went on a long time ago. So that was astonishing to me. I would like to know what in the world they were fighting over, who was fighting, who was bombing, and who was existing on the moon in the first place. And are they still there, or did they go inside? So what's most astonishing is that somebody else was on the moon. Somebody put those structures there.
Yep, I like that. Interesting. Well, I tell you what, we come to the end of the hour, so a little bit over. but we covered a lot of information for the
You got
hour.
a lot of little other things in there besides the moon too. That was interesting.
Now we can definitely have you back on another show, and we can plan that. We can talk. We'll keep in contact on
Yep.
Facebook, and when you're bored, if you ain't got nothing to do, heck, come on as a guest and just hang out with us.
All right,
You're
you guys.
welcome.
That's
Thank
fine.
you. It's been great meeting you.
It was very nice meeting you.
I hope you don't mind us. You have been inducted into the Ertling Hall of Fame, as Oofy calls us, Ertlings. ERTLINGS.
Ah, okay.
And so you have been inducted into our family, and you're more than welcome as a guest. And if you want to share some thoughts, or when you get your new book done, you want to share
Thank
that.
you.
You can definitely be coming back as a guest, and we'll just kind of have fun, and like you said, we'll just wing it and have fun and just enjoy the conversation.
Yep, I like it. I like it. Thank
Yeah,
you so much for having me on. It was great to talk with you guys, and I'll be
yeah,
back.
we're
Okay.
pretty easy to get along with.
You'll have to. Okay,
All right.
yes, you are. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Good
Thank you
night.
very much.
Thank
We'll
you.
talk to you next time. Bye bye.
All right. Bye now.
All right. So, Charles, can you hang out with us?
Sure, I can hang out for a few minutes.
All right. Well, I wanted to go a little bit longer. Okay. Now, my allergies all of a sudden kicked in talking about all
Uh-oh.
that crazy talk. Yeah,
Well,
talk about,
you're sharing it with me. I about exploded a sneeze there a while back.
yeah.
You're,
Well, talking about
I guess I need to change the filters.
no, talking about
So
that crazy talk. It always gets me worked up because they got
get
they
the
got
brain
me.
get the brain churning in there, and you never know what's going to come out.
Okay, now we always like to do. I didn't want to take up any time with her while she wanted to share her information.
Uh-huh.
So, but we got tarot cards. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Would you like it? Would you like a reading?
I didn't even get to tell Constance about my Sasquatch theory.
Next time. Make a note of it next time, and she'll be
Yes,
on probably
yes.
before the end of the year. Hopefully, we'll try to get her.
I know. I'm looking forward to it
But you can
already.
definitely connect with her on Facebook and let her know. She'll know who you are now. So, all right.
Oh,
So, how many times do you want me to shuffle these? Pick a number. How many times?
three came to mind.
3 times. All right.
Yes.
No, what I usually do is I take them from the center of the deck and I shuffle them, and then I cut the deck. At the end, hopefully, I end up with different cards. Sometimes I don't, though. That's pretty darn amazing with these cards, when you do it. You can do a reading for who? Noofy, what? Did she say do a reading
So
for?
the guest that just checked out.
Oh, if she wants one, I didn't know if she wanted one. I didn't want to take up any of her time.
Well, in
So
absentia.
I'd been respectful of
Oh,
what she wanted
you
to
don't
share.
you don't do people who aren't here. We're asking
And
for one, okay?
Well, I do ask if there's time, and if she was still here, I'd definitely include her.
Oh, okay.
But
No, that's
she's
all right.
not here, and I don't
Well,
know.
you just have to settle for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna read you though right now, and so you're in trouble now, buddy.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and
Well,
that card don't even want to stay in my hand.
I'm big in the screen here. Can I do that? Yeah.
There you go.
Embrace those around you.
Now what's funny, and look at that number there, number.
5.
Now see, the funny thing is, I had that one today already, and
Okay.
I already shuffled the cards now, and I come up with this one again. So what is that trying to tell us? And we're gonna do 3 cards for you.
Okay.
Shuffle it 3 times. We'll do 3
3
cards.
after 3.
Yeah. Man, now my nose is going crazy after all that.
9 of action.
Yeah, no number on that, but 9 of action. You see a woman there feeding little animals there, and I'll take a picture
Are
of
those
this and send it to
tarot?
you.
Are those regular out of a regular tarot deck?
No, these are the Guardian Angel tarot
Okay.
card decks. This was actually one, believe it or not. Esther had ordered these on Amazon, and somehow she wound up with an extra deck.
Okay.
And she said, I know who would want one of
I
those.
appreciate these.
So she sends it to me.
How's that? I haven't heard anything from Esther lately. How's she doing?
She's
You took a
around.
little.
She just
Okay.
go within.
You're a very intuitive person. Insights waiting inside. Take time to be quiet and reflect on the desires of your heart through meditation and prayer. That's always a good idea. Be
And
patient.
that number
Be
is,
patient. I like that last line. Be patient with yourself.
yeah, there you go.
Yes,
Now let
I
me get a picture
definitely
of
need
that for
that.
you. I'll get a picture of that for you and send it to you on Skype, and
Okay.
then you'll have it. And then you can enjoy that. You can take a minute to read it and kind of understand more of what they're talking about. Oh, okay, now work.
Like the 52. I used the 52 pickup shuffle method for Goofy.
Right.
Throw them here and gather them all back up.
Well, these are 78 tarot cards, actually. So they are 78 cards in this particular deck. Unless I lost one already, but I don't think so.
Mm.
I remember when I had to replace Star's deck that she originally got me because I know that I lost one. And then it was like, well, how did I lose one? But that's all right.
That's a good question.
Mistake.
Someone spirited it away.
Yeah, something. I don't know. I don't think it was intentional. It just happened.
It just fell through the loop.
Yeah, there you go.
It fell through a portal.
We got that. So now I'm going to go ahead and share that with you on Skype, and you can take a look at that, and you can either read them out aloud or whatever you want to do. You already read that one, so I'm not sure if you want to read that again. Okay, now you should have them. Yep, you should have them there. It's a little bit smaller picture, but there you go. Okay, who else? Who is the next victim? Well, I'm not going to do a reading for Constance because she's not here, like I said. That wouldn't be polite of me to do that. If she requests for one on Facebook Messenger, I'll do one for her at any time if she wants. I didn't ask her if she wanted a reading. Some people don't actually like readings, believe it or not, and I do it for fun, just to have fun and enjoy the messages that we get. If you look at those cards, they're all positive. There's nothing evil about them, I don't think. I'm not sure what would be evil about this process, except that we're not maybe say this would be a divination, sort of, but if we're using the Holy Spirit, so to speak, to guide us in our questioning and our reaching for the information and the research. And I don't see anything wrong with that.
Oh God.
Okay, when the Bee Gees wrote Jive Talking, they didn't know what Jive Talking was.
That does not surprise me. So you're gonna go.
Yeah,
So Oofy's up for 8 cards.
8 cards or
Yeah,
1 card.
one for each tentacle.
Oh, okay, 8 cards. Oh boy, 1 for each. That's a lot. Well, okay, Oofy,
Is
here is
Lorraine?
you.
And is
And
Lorraine still here?
Bobby, are you still
She's
here,
been
Bob?
quiet.
What's up? Lorraine was here. Ah, Julie's here. Hey, Julie.
There we
Would you
go.
like,
More
would you
and
like
more.
to join us?
Better and better.
Would you like to join us, or would you
Welcome to the party.
just want to hang out and chat? 6 of thought for Oofy. 6 of thought. Was that one really 1 for each, or just 1? I 1 card. Oh, he said 1 card only. Okay. All right. So that's it. There you go. Oofy, that's real easy. That's a simple one. And hi, Julie. Would you like a reading before you? I'm gonna give Bobby his reading, since Oofy was pretty quick on that one. Okay. So let's just take a minute to edit this to get it sent for Skype so it looks nice. And what do you think of her writing? I shared some of the stories about her book.
I was utterly impressed with her diligence.
Yeah.
And no, I mean these.
The time and research.
I understand what she was writing and why she chose to do it.
Yeah.
But her enthusiasm is infectious.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. She has great enthusiasm for the mysteries. I kind of thought that from seeing the books and hearing about them. And I said, yeah, I think that's great. You have to have, you have to look at the world through different eyes,
Yeah.
and take in. Sometimes it's best just to like kick back and flow downstream and let it, let the universe come to you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. I think it's a really good. I think
Yeah.
we need more of that.
And the interesting
Do that rather than fighting and battling and arguing all the time.
yeah.
Just let it be.
I had asked Constance for a interview sometime last year. I can't remember when.
Uh-huh.
And finally it came to happening. And so I'm glad for that, because she's an interesting person to talk with. And a lot of fun to listen to. I like it when she gets kind of I don't mean to sound bad when I say scatterbrain, but kind of like flustered when she has so many things that she's thinking of
Yes.
at once. And
She gets excited about what she's thinking about.
yeah,
I think that's good.
and I like that, because that shows that's real,
Mm-hmm.
And all right, I'm trying to.
Oh, Robin, you don't do that, do you?
No, never.
Me neither, man. No, I don't do that.
I'm going to jokingly say what everyone says not to say. I know it all. I got all the answers. I don't have any trouble. That's a lie, of course. Ah, there we go. That's the one I was looking for. See, sometimes you have to keep getting the right one that speaks to you to share the message that you want to share.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bobby, I got your 4 cards ready. Okay. And I'll send you a picture at the end. You don't have to read it all right now. 10 of Abundance. I think we had that one for you before. Oofy can write down these on the chat if he wants. 10 of Abundance, Oofy. I'm going to send Bobby a picture anyway, so it doesn't matter. Either way. Oh. All right. And then 6 of Emotion. And again, I'll take a picture for you. All right. And then 4 of Action.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just letting Oofy know what order they are in, and she can put them in chat. And when I send the picture to Bobby, he'll have it all figured out. And then Intuition and Insight, and that is number
18.
No, 15. Yeah. So what these cards are, with these numbers on the top, in the regular tarot card deck, you have 22 22 major arcanas from 0 to 21, right?
Okay.
That'd be 22, right? Counting 0 as a number. So yeah.
4 times 21 is 84.
No.
Okay. There's 4. There's 4 major
The
strings, right?
major
Swords,
arcana.
wands, cups, and
Yeah, there's
okay.
yeah, there's the wands, swords, cups, and pentacles. I'm not sure if
Okay.
that's in the right order, but anyway.
Yeah, okay, but anyway, that's 4.
Then the major arcana.
Yes, which is like another suit all by itself.
Yeah,
Those are
and
almost
now the
as many
major
as there are.
arcana, what the major arcana is
Oh,
about,
it's
the major arcana is about the basically the answer to the message as a whole. The first 3 cards and the 4 card spread, you got the situation. Then you have the middle of the story, which whatever that story might be for that person, which that's going to be different for each one.
mm-hmm.
And then you have kind of the settling of that middle of that story, and then you have the
Okay.
anchor or the outcome of that answer, and that's what the 4th card is about. Now, if it's a major arcana card in any one of the slots, then it's kind of like making you aware that you need to be taking, being a heads up, being thinking about things in that situation and what that card is saying. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know if I got it right or not, but I hope I do. And so each card layout, though, is going to be a little bit different in what the cards are trying to share with you. I had looked at one earlier, and Oofy wanted me to do the Celtic Cross one. Well, I don't have the space to do that on the computer. Just ain't got a whole lot of room. I'd have to get a table set up for that and actually do it correctly. But Celtic Cross is a longer story than your normal story than what you do, And so,
So Ron, have you been looking in the sky today? You been out? Is it too cold there?
No, it's still too cold.
But you I thought you'd be out there looking for that Chinese balloon.
No.
Is it headed your way?
No.
Okay. I think yesterday it was over.
Well, it was over Montana.
Montana. Yeah.
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 Now, what was interesting was, okay, wait a minute now. Which one am I doing there? Okay, there we go. What was interesting was I have a friend who's in Montana,
Uh-huh.
and I blamed him for the balloon. Of course, I'm just being silly, you know. And he's one of the guys that's on the Slacker 82 Alpha show.
Okay.
Guy in Montana, his name is Raccoon, and he always has some strange and interesting stories, and he has some good information. He's really smart in what he talks about. If you ever listen to the guys on that show,
One button.
and on Slacker 82 Alpha, and I have them. I stream them live on the audio side. I watch them on their show. Okay, what I don't understand is why the U.S. allowed it to be flying over our airspace, which is not supposed to be. Period.
It's not flying, it's drifting.
Well, it's whatever it's doing, it's not supposed to be there. Bobby, I sent you your picture of your
I don't
car.
know. I don't know if the how the rules go on that, really. I mean,
Well,
seriously.
in
Okay,
another,
if you were on an aeronaut and you were on a long distance voyage, do you have to clear every country that you supposedly might conceivably fly across?
yeah. Now I don't know. Did they
I don't, you know,
come from China or did they launch it from
well,
Montana?
nobody knows where it came from.
I mean,
I would assume that the Air Force or that would have been picked up on satellite.
yeah.
This thing is probably, I don't know, I'm guessing 400 feet
Now you know what's interesting.
diameter.
Looking at the size of that thing and how high it was, and it almost looked like the moon. You know?
It's like 12 miles up.
Yeah, but still,
Yes.
it's pretty good size. You can see it,
Yes.
and the
It's
sunlight would
it's-
catch it. And what's interesting is when I saw the object I did, I'm thinking now that could have been something like that, believe it or not. And nobody knew about it then. Nobody talked
Sure.
about it then. Although what I noticed in the news recently is that there was a situation of a silver ball that landed in
Okay.
Mexico.
Here,
All right.
here we go. The latest projections show a path through Kentucky, Tennessee, into North Carolina over the next 24 hours.
Oh, it's already passed me now.
Oh, so it's, yep.
But why are
So
they letting it
we'll have
fly?
to give Maria a heads up.
Okay,
And
why are they letting it
Marco.
fly? Because yeah, see, the interesting thing is they said something about they made the excuse, oh, well, we don't want to shoot it down because it'll land on somebody. And it's like, well, you can probably control that actually. You can shoot it down and land it wherever you want to land it in the desert if you want. So, but yeah, so I don't know why they'd allow it to be going all around the United States.
A North Carolina police department urges residents not to take pot shots at suspected spy balloon.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Even your best rifle is not going to do it at 12 miles out.
All right. And actually, in some states, it's illegal to fire your rifle in the city.
Well,
Right.
just remember when you're shooting into the air, what goes up must come down.
Right.
Yes.
And it could hit you or somebody else even. So I think that's everyone that wanted the card reading. Lorraine, is Lorraine here? I don't know if Lorraine is still here. She was here for a little while. We only got 3 people here, so I think we got everyone that was here. So, well, that was a lot of fun. We got to do this again.
Yes.
Well, you also get her other book. Get this book though, for sure. It's not that expensive actually. This isn't that expensive. On Amazon. All right, get that book. And I'll even show you how much it is. It's not that bad. That's a lot of information in this book. And in this book, this is the other book. This is interesting. All right. So to get that one, and that one was a little more, but still not bad. I mean, they're not making $1 million on these books. I'm going to tell you that right now.
No.
I don't think they do it necessarily for making a whole lot of money.
Nobody, no writer in their right mind does.
Yeah. Now for some reason this TV came on by itself.
Ah, Chinese balloon interference.
Well, hey, it tuned into the right channel. It tuned into two.
Zhou Jinping says, "Put out your lights."
Oh boy, that's funny. It all of a sudden popped on here. I don't know. I think I hit the remote over here. That's what happened. Okay, so my card stopped working.
Yes,
Everybody.
I heard that. Well, I could have doubt that you had a dead battery or something.
Well,
What's
I don't
the
know if it's a
verdict?
dead battery or if it's the fuel pump
Okay.
or something.
Well, does it turn over?
No, it does not turn over.
Then it's probably the battery. I'd look for the battery first.
That's what Brian was talking about. I
Yeah.
did get a jumper thing, a battery jump.
Well,
thing.
didn't you have a booster?
I had
you had
one,
you had
but
a
the
power pack, but it
the one
didn't
that-
have a.
well, the booster thing that I have didn't work.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't even take a charge. It won't charge up, and it doesn't
Okay.
jump the car. The one that I use for the power pack for the phone charging, that's a little bit different. That won't jump the car.
Okay.
But the guy that came over and looked at it today, he suggested it could be the fuel pump that's causing some of the issue. But there's two fuel pumps in that thing, and then you're looking at like around $2,000 to fix that.
Gee.
Yeah, and I hope it's not the fuel pump. I hope it is the batteries. When I get these this jump start thing that I ordered today, and I
Okay.
get here on Wednesday, and then I'll be able to try to jump start it and see if that works. Now, if that works, then that means it's not the fuel pump.
Right.
And
Well,
that works.
It's you haven't been driving much, and it's cold.
Right.
And you haven't replaced that battery, have you? You've had that.
That one was new. No, that one was new. Yeah, that one was new the last time that I had it.
Oh, really?
The one that I had the problem where it was not starting, and I had to have the car towed from here.
Yes.
And then
That
I
was-
got the loaner car, and then
Okay.
they went through the battery, got the battery changed, so it should have been new.
Oh,
And
okay.
I paid $500 for the work, so $500, so it should have been new. And yeah, and then they gave me an oil change and everything like that. But I mean, yeah, so it should have been new. But again, with the cold weather, who knows how it's going to affect the battery, you know? And
it does sound like you've got would kind of seem to indicate you might have a drain somewhere.
Yeah, and if it might be the alternator, it might be bad. I don't know. It could be a number of things.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to see if I can get it working, get it running on. I'll get my jumper thing on Wednesday, so a pretty quick turnaround on the order. You know, considering you got the weekend and you got 3 days. And then what was funny was I had to order a book of checks for some verification process.
That reminds me. I have to do that.
Yeah, and what was interesting, they put a rush on it. They put a rush on it on Friday, and they came on Tuesday. And I thought it was my other book that I had ordered. The way that they had a package, and so I totally missed that part. But anyway, it's okay. I just took care of what I had to do the next day. But the point of the matter is, 2 days they had to check here after they ordered it Friday afternoon, and then on Monday, you know, they printed them either Friday evening or Monday morning, whatever, and then bam, they were here Tuesday. They're like, holy cow, that was fast. And then yet, when you order a debit card, it takes a month and a half. So I don't get that. like if you have a debit card issue, like if it expires or if you have to get it redone because somebody hacks it or whatever, and you end up having to wait a month and a half to get your debit card redone. That's incredible. So, because they get the cards from another company. But yeah, that's kind of weird. So okay, what is Hoopy saying?
Did you leave the
No,
interior light on?
no.
I said no. The glove box light switch
It
went.
all has the automatic lights. It turns them off, and
Well, what if it doesn't? What if it just automatically turns them back on periodically?
if it
Huh?
did that,
How do you
then
know? How do
then
you know? How do you
I,
know if you're not in
then
there to
I'm in
see?
trouble. Then I'm in trouble if it did that. So no, I think part of it was
That's CT. Yeah, I bet he just goes there and flips the light switch. Tick, tick, tick,
well,
tick.
no, part of it was just really cold for the last few weeks,
Yes.
and I haven't been driving it much either, you know. And when I'm sitting here trying to crank it when it's not starting, well, that doesn't help it either.
Well, Tuesday
That just works.
Tuesday I went out to start my car after being sick for a week,
Yeah,
and it wasn't happening.
yeah. So
So I got in the trunk, and I grabbed my jump box, hooked it up,
bam, right up.
off to the races.
All right. Well, I'll make sure I check that before I do any other work. And if it starts, what I want to do is I want to trade this thing in on a newer model. That's what I want to
There
get.
you go.
And then I
There
won't
you
have
go.
that problem with it, I hope. So, I mean, this has
So,
been a really good car. Just recently with the cold weather, it's been crazy.
mhm.
And this winter has been a little bit colder than some of them that we've had recently. Here, it's been colder. Okay. And we had like 3 weeks where we had minus 20 wind chill,
Yes.
minus 20 to 40
Yes.
wind chill factor, you know, compared to the regular temperature, it was like minus 12, you know, 12 to 15 degrees.
Was that last winter when you had trouble with the garage door?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. You just don't winter well, Ron. You need
But
to
there
move to.
there
You need to
there was
move.
an answer
You
for
need to
that.
move down. Yeah.
We learned it was a connection on the motor
Yes.
section. I might want to get that replaced actually and get a new door and new system on that, and that's something I might want to look into. But I want to look into a new roof for the garage too, because I got
Uh-huh.
the roof is falling apart, and it's a flat roof that's just an old, you know, probably
Mhm.
just a piece of plywood they put up there. Who knows? And yeah, it's cracked and got holes in it, and it has rain coming in at some point, and I got icicles that are growing on the beams across. You know? Yeah, that's pretty bad. And so yeah, we gotta fix that. So,
Yes.
but
That could be
there's a few things I gotta
that could
get
be
done.
calamitous.
Buy some new squirrels. No more squirrels. No. Oh, you mean for running the car? Oh yeah. Okay. Put them
Yes.
in the wheel.
Lower cage squirrels.
Now with this winter, you know, just with this problem I'm having here with this battery, can you imagine an electric car in this weather? Now, is that gonna work? Is that gonna work here in Minnesota? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I'm sorry. I just don't think it will. And I don't think they have perfected that technology to work in the Arctic cold weather like this. I mean, you go
Well, hey,
days. You go.
those little rovers they've got on Mars keep
That's a
going and
little bit.
keep going and
Yeah,
going and going.
you're not gonna spend no.
They just got their little solar panels out there and their
You're
little
not
electric
gonna spend.
motors.
You're not
They
gonna
just
spend billions of dollars for a car, though.
okay. So I'm not saying it couldn't be done. It's just
Right. Now, when you did your bicycles, you did your electric bikes,
yes.
different models that you worked on, that you designed or worked on a design that you knew about, whatever.
Okay.
How far did they go on a charge?
I shot for 20 miles,
Okay.
and they all perform. You know, the two that I finished did 20 miles, and
Okay.
with the batteries that I could get now, okay, 5 years later, I could probably double that range.
40 miles. And then
Yes.
have to recharge. Now, have you thought about how to recharge it with the pedal assist?
No, it doesn't work.
Okay. You
I've
remember
thought
the
about it.
generator?
I've thought about it. I've thought about it, and
Remember the old
yeah.
school generator you used to use to light up your headlight, right? Is there any way to create something
no.
like that?
The key is it's too much work.
Oh, okay.
If you want an
And
electric bike, you don't want to have to pedal. That's you know.
yeah,
You don't want to have to pedal. Okay, if you were going to go 10 miles, if you were using yourself for the charge, you'd have to pedal 20 miles
yeah,
to get 10 miles of riding in. That doesn't work for anybody.
yeah. Oofy, the batteries work below 20 degrees, but not negative 80 degrees like we had this last
Mhm.
few weeks. We actually had one temperature, I think, in Duluth was right around 90, minus 80 rather. Yeah. I know it was minus 60 at least. So well, after you get when you get minus 30, it's like it doesn't really matter how cold it gets after that.
I'll wait till somebody comes. We'll grab some batteries when somebody comes up with an electric snowmobile.
Yeah, there you go. That ain't gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just don't know. And then you see these commercials where they go on all their driving and they come back home and then their house needs power, so they plug the truck up to the house and they light up the whole house, and it's like, yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. Oh boy.
Okay. Yeah.
So today,
Well, Brian, you just what you need to do for power out there is just put you a tower and put you like a 15 kilowatt windmill on there. They aren't that noisy and they won't kill that many birds, and the raccoons will take care of the carcasses anyway.
yeah. We got up to 0 degrees today,
Wow.
and we
Heat
had
wave.
a wind chill factor of 25 last I checked. Now I can't read what that temperature says over there now, but it's like minus something. Yeah, somebody else can look it up. Here in Jeffers, it's we're kind of weird because we got the flat land of the cornfields, and then the snow's blowing around, wind's blowing it. I mean, like here I can understand the effects of the wind and
Oh yeah.
the land and everything. We got the wind, the dust is blowing. Right now the snow is blowing all around. And so when you have the when you have wind, like when they had the flag on the moon, somebody said, "Oh, it was blowing. It was like waving in the wind. How it looked. How does that work? You've seen that picture before.
It was a little springy flap on the arm that was holding it up.
How does that work? Now that's a conspiracy theory right there. That was done in the Nevada desert, actually, and that's why it was windy.
Oh, okay. So. I forgot. Those were the Kubrick days.
Yeah.
Those were at what was the name of that? What was the name of that big studio? Pine something in England.
I can't remember. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember though. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. Well,
but
supposedly that's where he did his work.
Yeah, they had it pretty good though for the most part. The realistic looking and everything like that. But really, what I believe, I do believe that we have been and we never stopped going to the moon. Prove me wrong. I don't think anybody can.
I can't have. Well, it depends on how we're getting there. I find
Well,
it hard. I find it hard to believe that they're using Saturn V or Saturn 1B boosters.
I don't think they're using the common
No, if they're using
technology that we know.
if they're using something else, remember who was it? There was somebody that said, Reagan said that we had over 200 astronauts in space.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So now, think about that. Now, when the guys were on the surface walking around,
Mm-hmm.
right, and they're collecting their science stuff and everything like that,
Mm-hmm.
there was a guy in the lunar module that was
No,
waiting for them.
no, there was not a guy in the lunar module.
No, in the capsule
In the command module in
above
orbit.
the
Yes.
moon.
Yes.
Yeah, in the orbit.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that he was up there and he never got to go to the moon. He was just there in the capsule.
Exactly.
Because somebody had to stay there, right?
Yes.
What did he see? That's the question that I would have.
Plenty.
And of course he's not talking about it.
I don't know. Oh God.
That was one thing I
Armstrong,
could have asked her, which we could ask next time.
Armstrong, Aldrin, and that's terrible. I can't remember his name.
Well, I don't think he's alive now, though. I think he died already, if I remember right.
Well, there are very few. Buzz Aldrin may be the last one left.
Yeah, and they all
I
kind of
think
take
like-
their secrets. They take their secrets with them. And but yeah, he was talking about. I remember he was on an interview one time, and he said, "Well, we argued about who would go to the surface."
Mhm.
They were arguing over who was going to go, and
yes.
then I guess seniority won, and the ones that went were the ones that
No,
were.
had nothing to do with that.
No, I don't know.
Do you know
what it
why?
had.
Do you know why Armstrong was the first man on the moon?
No, why?
Because he was a civilian.
Oh,
He was a civilian test pilot.
okay.
Officially, he was not military.
Okay.
That's why he was chosen to be the first man on the moon.
And then you knew about the.
I mean, he qualified.
You heard this. You heard this one before. They had a military 45 handgun for protection, right? Now, what are they going to run into on the moon that they need to shoot?
I don't think they. I don't think. Officially, I do not think any of the Apollo missions had a weapon.
Okay.
on board.
All right. I don't know what story that came from, but that was an
Well,
actual-
the Russians had a 3-barrel shotgun
Okay.
on their craft,
Yeah. Interesting.
because they land in the middle of fucking nowhere in Siberia, and there are big bears out there.
Oh yeah, there's animals.
So they were
Gotta protect
the Russians were armed.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they don't land in the ocean.
No, they don't have to worry. They don't have to worry about sharks. but
Right.
They do have to worry about bears.
Now we were talking about sharks earlier, and Maria was talking about diving, wherever she said she was diving at. But the places where I went diving, it was pretty common to see sharks. And like Monterey Bay in California was where I got my certification done in open water, and that was on my own time, not on military time. So I did that just because I wanted to try it. And that was the one time where I went too deep and I came up when I was out of air. And I was 10 feet below the surface. And when you tried to inhale, because you had to breathe, well, guess what? guess what you got? You already know that answer. So, but that was probably one time where I was really close to getting to the end right there, just on that situation. And my legs were cramping up, and I couldn't get to the surface fast enough. And of course, I had to breathe. So that was kind of interesting. But I learned my lesson real quick about that one.
Yes.
And so when I went diving in the Philippines, and this was on my trip with the Navy, but I was still, in civilian activity, not military. Just diving. The water was so clear you could see. I kept it at 60 feet. I didn't go any deeper than 60 feet because, well, that'd just be crazy to go through that again. And because when I did my certification dive, I was 90 feet down, which I wasn't supposed to be that deep. And because after 60, then you have to do the decompression, which I did not do correctly, I don't think. So anyway, in the Philippines, though, the water was so clear you could see. I don't know how many feet, but it's pretty good. You can see like you're looking through air,
Yes. I've
That's
been.
how clear it is.
A friend and I were fishing in a reservoir in West Virginia.
Yeah.
And in a canoe. And we looked out, and you could see the bottom.
Yeah.
Like it was inches away. Okay.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll just drop the anchor out here, and see how. I had 40 feet of rope. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't enough to touch bottom.
Oh no.
And that water was, I was agog at how clear that water was.
Wow. That's pretty incredible.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things we don't know about this planet.
Absolutely.
And so I think we need to spend more time learning our own home and stop trying to wreck it for everybody and just, enjoy it. Right?
Yes, that's true.
And
take care of it.
Yeah.
Be proper stewards of
I noticed the University of Minnesota got a new telescope that they set up.
Really?
Yeah. And now what is it called now? It's it has the same idea that Mark is using with the camera in the front of the lens.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a homemade, or not a homemade scope, but it's a privately made scope, and it looks like a Celestron design, but it's a binocular style scope.
Okay.
And it's about I guess they're each about 16 inches in diameter.
That's pretty sizable.
Imagine that as a binocular. And so then you got both of these cameras that are on the ends of the, object on the other end of the, not the mirror side, but the objection, the front side of it.
That's interesting.
And
I'm wondering what that would. I think they do that with one of the big telescopes in either Hawaii or Chile at the top of the mountain.
Yeah. Yeah.
That they look at something with the scope over here and the scope over here.
Yeah.
And both of them look at the same thing.
Now, see, that's what we're trying to do.
Combine the two issues, and it takes the waveliness out of the air.
See, what we're working on with Mark is a similar idea.
Sure.
My scope that we're gonna put in there in the new observatory, the one that I'm gonna donate.
Excuse me.
It's gonna be an 11-inch Celestron. That's what we're looking at, but we're gonna have the camera on the back end of the scope, not the front end of the scope. So then what we're gonna have with that is a wide field view compared to a tighter view, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
So you'd have a different look at it. Hey, Andy. and then so you'd have a wider field of view on that newer observatory that we're putting together, and then compared to his F2, right? We're gonna keep the new scope at F10, I guess it is. Yeah, I think it's F10. So that'll be a wider field of view, but we can see more things. Like we can take a look at Jupiter with that new
Okay. Yes. Sure.
design. Where right now you can't really look at Jupiter with any kind of detail with the setup he has, because he's looking at deep space objects, right?
Right. Yeah.
So he can look at
Wait a
the
minute. Did you
close.
just say the new scope will be a wider view?
It will be a wide field view type.
His
design.
current scope is a wide field view.
Well, no, his current one is F2.
Okay, which means it's what
It's a tighter view.
He looks at a big swath of the sky.
Yeah, but it's a tighter view though.
But the one that you're talking about will be looking
The regular.
if you're looking at planets, okay, and you want to see the moons of Jupiter and that, it has to be a much tighter field.
Oh,
smaller,
okay. Maybe
smaller
I got it back.
field.
Maybe I got it
Yeah,
backwards. Huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
I
what
say, wait a minute. I know what Mark's doing.
that's what we're thinking of.
No,
And
it's
since
like,
it's in a different, it's in the same state.
His sensitivity is much greater.
Yeah, it'll be in the same state, but it'll be in a different location.
Yes,
Okay.
gotcha.
So we'll have a different little bit different view, but not much, because it'll be in the same. It'll be in Arizona still, or maybe in Nevada. I don't know. Marianne and them are looking at whatever place they want to put it. But yeah, so that's a lot of fun just to plan this whole thing.
Oh, sure. Well, he
Just
sent
together.
me an animation of his design for the roof.
Oh yeah,
It's fucking brilliant.
for his one in Cincinnati or Connecticut. Or
For
whatever.
the new roof.
Yeah.
I guess that would be
Yeah.
It's
At his home. Yeah.
Actually, the only, and I didn't say anything to him, but the only thing I would probably do different than how he has done it is I would split the roof in two
And
have
open
one
it
on
up
each
like
side,
yeah.
have one on each side and come back to the center.
Yeah.
But and I'm only saying that because I haven't gone through the math of the loading on the torque arms.
Yeah.
At any particular point in the operation.
And then I'm not
But
sure about
the point is, if you split it in half, that reduces the loading on the pivots and the cylinders by a quarter. So just
okay.
Just
Now,
saying.
how would you prevent snow from coming in there with that?
You
split?
don't. That's the beauty of his way of doing it.
Oh, on his design.
You mean when it comes back closed?
Yeah.
Just the weight of it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
You would close it. You would close it like my arms are. Okay.
Okay.
You would close it onto a
create
bit of
its own seal.
so
create
it
its own seal.
and it would create its own seal.
Okay.
And then you just have
Fair
to
enough. That's interesting. Yeah.
kneel it down.
So yeah, I didn't think about
Beautiful.
how much the internal equipment costs. So
Oh my God. Yes.
overall, I mean that's everything to make it up and get it up and running and get it ready to go. You're looking at well, probably about $7,000 or $8,000 just for the equipment.
Yes.
And
Sure.
so that's a nice little gift though, and it's nice
Gears
to
and
have,
mounts and computers and
yeah.
all the wiring and
Well, it's my way. Yeah, for me, it's my way of saying thank you, to him and for everything that he's doing. And I just, I want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to enjoy what he does, or all that he does for everything. and so that kind of gives that opportunity to more people to enjoy that gift
Mhm.
that he's sharing with everyone. And he doesn't really ask for any payment for it. He just does it because he loves to share it. And so
It'd be great if those catch on.
yeah.
We have like 20 of those all over the United States. Wouldn't that be cool?
Well, now James Dugan was talking about he wanted to put one in Australia.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Hell yes. You know?
so the Marianne and Mark are arguing over, and even Tara, they're all arguing over who's going to get to go.
Tell them
Oh
to watch.
boy.
Tell them to go back and watch Crocodile Dundee too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I know kind of the area where James is. I've been there to
Boy,
Sydney.
that's no knife made.
Yeah.
This is a knife.
So I can definitely go and help get it done because I know the area. You know.
There you go.
But yeah. So anyway, there's a lot of fun things happening. So keep that in mind and just enjoy the journey that we have.
That's right.
And let's just have fun and just everybody get along. And what's funny is Jimmy Fallon has Paul Schaefer on. You know who Paul Schaefer is?
Used to be the band guy.
Yeah, band guy for David Letterman.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, he's
Really?
I guess he's kind of retired now, though. But I mean, he's doing a favor because the
Well,
Roots.
he's got to be. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
He's
yeah, I don't know. He's pretty old.
he's probably pushing 72.
Yeah,
You know.
he the Roots, the night show, the Tonight Show band, the Roots. They're actually doing the Grammys show.
Okay.
So that's where they are. And so Paul Schaefer offered to help out with the. That's pretty cool, though. So it's kind of interesting to see him at the keyboard and like, wait a minute, I know that guy. How do I know that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch him every night with David Letterman. That's how I know him. So watched David Letterman for I don't know how many years, from 1980, 1983 or something like that, right?
Uh-huh.
Somewhere around there, and then on through to about 2000 or so, I guess, when David Letterman retired. But he looks kind of weird now with this big beard that he has and everything.
Mm-hmm. Letterman.
So,
I can't. Who was right before? Who
yeah.
did Letterman take the place of? Jay
What
Leno?
now? What now?
No, that was different in this.
Huh?
Did Letterman take over from Jay Leno,
Um,
or were they on competing networks? I can't remember.
I think David was on CBS.
Okay.
I think David wanted to be on NBC, but they picked Jay Leno.
Okay.
Okay, and then David got hired by CBS, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. Oh my God.
All right. Well, hey, look, we made it 2 hours. How do you like that? Just rambling about nothing.
Piece of cake.
Man, that is easy. And we're gonna give Andy his wish. He asked me to get off.
Okay. Okay.
Andy shared a picture in the chat, and you see that picture Andy shared in the chat about the. I sent everybody a card for when I'm dead.
Yes, I did see that. I did see that one. That was cool.
So that I can keep talking to you.
Okay.
Oh boy, I like that one. That's like the meme that I seen on Facebook where the guy gave everybody or gave everybody his cell phone number or whatever, something about a cell phone, and call him when he's in the coffin and watch everyone it rings or whatever. Some kind of funny thing. I have to look at that again. That was funny. But yeah, we did good. 2 hours. We're almost right now. Got 1 more minute yet. We'll go. We had a pretty good crowd here, though. We had a lot of people checked in.
Well, it's always fun to see Lorraine come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and
Uh,
Lorraine and Yuffie and
well,
Bobby and
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read this book a little bit better and read her other books as well, and we'll have more stuff to talk about. Just
uh-huh.
to have conversation. I'll read that NASA report book that I got, NASA Lunar Technical Report,
Yes.
and there's a lot of numbers in that thing.
I'll have to look at her. I'll have to look at her bibliography and see. I had a feeling that there were some other books there that she hadn't mentioned, and her two earlier ones. I'd like to
Yeah, if you look at
see
the
if I
back,
can
if you look at the
see if I
back,
can find a copy of them.
yeah, on Amazon, I'm sure there's quite a few. Um, okay, I thought that was a list of books, but I guess not. Um,
No.
but I think there might be a list somewhere. But anyway, check her out on Amazon. Constance Victoria Briggs on Amazon, really easy to find. Go ahead and follow her
Yep.
there too. Hit the follow button,
Yep.
and if you like her research
I'll
and
have to.
like the work that she's doing, get it. Again, the prices aren't that bad. That's the thing about the self-publishing or using, some of the different types of publishing. It's a little
Mhm.
bit less expensive compared to the old days. The old days you had to actually
Yes,
hire a
but
publisher, and so it was a little bit different in the old days when you actually had to hire somebody with all the equipment. And now you can just send it off to the print thing and have them print it out
well,
and do everything. And Joey Medea does his own
yes.
book.
Hmm.
New Mystic Publishing or whatever it's called. Something, I think that's it, right? Yeah.
Yes, something like that.
Yeah, and but he does his own publishing, so that just saves a lot of money for him. For anyone that's a self-publisher.
Yep.
So these guys are just trying to get their message out and share what they know, and um, follow the guys. Follow the good guys that you enjoy hearing, and support them where you can, and uh, just we can have fun just sharing our thoughts and messages and things like that. We don't. I don't ever
Do
ask
you
any.
listen to Into the Outer Realms?
Yeah.
Even do you listen? I mean, you run it on Wednesday now. Wednesday night?
I run it on Wednesday night at
Okay.
10 p.m. Eastern or 9 p.m. my time, and
I
then I
catch.
run the
I
Three
usually
Bridge.
catch that. So it's
I run a Three
is it
Bridge podcast
Friday?
after,
Is
and
it
then
Wednesday? No. Is it when is it? When's the live stream on that? Do you know?
live
Is
on
it
the Into the Outer
Tuesday?
Realms. Live on the Into
Can't
the
be.
Outer Realms is Wednesday at 6, I believe.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
No, I'm
Yeah. Okay.
doing Wednesday at 6 my time or 7 p.m. But
Uh-huh.
I'm doing the Slacker 82 Alpha, so it's a little hard to.
Oh, okay. Okay. I
Yeah,
wondered why I hadn't seen you over there.
yeah.
Now I know. Okay.
Well, I can use my other computer. I suppose I got to figure that out and get my other
Yeah, but
computer,
hey,
get my
you
computer
can only
running.
you can only you can only you
Yeah.
can only split the hair so
Well,
many times.
multitasking isn't my best.
Yes. Me for
So,
me either. For me either.
and but the
But
audio was good.
I I've got started listening to that and went to the live stream and said, man, this he and Craig do are really hit it off.
See,
They've done some
what's
they've done some
interesting.
really
Yeah.
good research there.
What's interesting is when you watch the video on their live stream,
Hmm.
Into the Outer Realms on Thursday, and then you hear the show a few weeks after, and you still got the visual
Oh, absolutely.
in your mind, and then when you hear them talk about it, I remember that picture. I saw that picture.
Yes, yes, yes,
So that's why I
yes.
like to try to catch the live video, because then when you hear it again,
Oh, that's true.
okay, it's like validates what you were watching in the visual sense, and then
Hmm.
you're hearing actually with the visual added from the previous show that you watched, and it's like, wow, that's like I get it now.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
almost like when you listen to a book online, and do the
Yeah.
audio book, and you can
Yep.
imagine what the writer is trying to say when you're listening to that.
Hmm.
Where if you're just reading it, it's just words on a page. It doesn't really speak to you in the same way. Maybe to some people it does, but not to me.
Hmm. Okay.
Uh, because I'm got that problem of little, ADHD and maybe a little bit dyslexia or whatever you want to call it,
Okay.
and everything kind of runs together, and it's a little bit difficult to really.
Whatever it takes to get the message across. We'll
But
just
the audio part,
utilize it
yeah,
all.
if I hear it on tape or if I hear it on the audio part, I can
Hmm.
imagine what the writer is talking about.
Hmm.
So, and what was funny was with George on Seinfeld, George Costanza, if you remember him, and
Hmm.
Jason Alexander is his name in real life. But he said he had to get a book. He had a book report to do or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But he had another thing to do. He had to do some kind of risk management thing, and he had to get it up for the blind. He acted like he was blind so he could get the hearing, reading, audiobooks for the blind. And
Ah.
and so he ended up getting the book that he needed on the tape. The funny part about that though um, is that a train whistle?
I hope
uh,
so.
that sounds weird. But
If
anyway,
it's not, it's a no. That's a fire whistle
oh, okay.
or emergency or whatever.
Why are
Yeah.
they
So
doing that now?
no. Well, I hope it's just for an ambulance call for first responders. If not, it's
Oh
could be a
boy.
fire.
Oh boy. Oh, hopefully it's not your garage.
Yes.
Okay.
Nowhere near me.
Okay, that's weird. But anyway, yeah, George got that tape, the book on tape that he had to learn, but then the tape for some reason sounded like his voice. And he's thinking, no, that's not right. It shouldn't sound like my voice. And he couldn't listen to it. Was a
That
funny
would
episode. You got to look at them.
that would be bad.
So,
It'd be
yeah,
listening to yourself. Be like
yeah,
talking to yourself.
yeah.
Hmm. That
Well,
would be rough.
well, I guess we're about done here, then. All right.
Okay,
So
guy.
thank you for helping
I'll go
out
check
tonight.
and see what the emergency is. So.
Yeah, and then you can again always check in, and if you want to co-host at any time, if you have some more thoughts to share or whatever, you can
Hey,
definitely
whatever. We can.
participate. And we just have fun with this, and you know just have a good time, and we can kind of bounce it off each other and try to get different guests that we want to try to get more airtime.
Well, I took a nap, and so I was good to go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and so we'll definitely talk to you later next time, and we'll have Constance back on for another hour, and we'll
Okay.
talk more about some other stuff.
Well,
So
good night, folks.
keep that in
We'll see
mind. Have a
you.
good
We'll see
night.
you next time.
Yep. All right. So everybody, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. I think we're all done. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight, and everyone else that was here. And yeah, let's see. The temperature here is -4. -4 is the temperature, but the wind chill factor is like -20 to 25 or so. All right. Thank you, Bobby, and thank you for being here for the tarot card reading. And we are out of here for now. We'll see you all on the next one. Have a great night.